Hey there. I'm Sadie Lockhart, the Community Engagement Manager for Mission Forward. Are you ready to take your communications to the next level? Join our new and free More Than Words Book Club cohort. We'll use More Than Words communications practices for courageous leaders as our guide to deep conversations about leadership, communications, and leading through our values. More Than Words is an invitation to join our community of practice, to lean into the best version of yourself as a leader, and to learn how you can use communication as a force for good. This is what you've been waiting for. So head on over to missionforward.us/morethanwords to reserve your free spot today. And we'll see you there.
Did you get that?
Did you get that?
Welcome to Mission Forward.
Hi there, and welcome to the Mission Forward podcast, where each week we bring you a thought-provoking and perspective-shifting conversation on the power of communication. I'm Carrie Fox, your host and CEO of Mission Partners, a social impact communications firm and certified B Corporation. And today, I've got a short-form episode for you. It's drawn from my weekly Wednesday column, and if you like what you hear, I hope you will head over to missionforward.us and sign up to get these insights delivered to your inbox each and every Wednesday morning. You can also help me out by forwarding the show to a friend and giving the show a 5-star rating, which helps make sure this content gets out to more people who can benefit from it. But hey, enough of that. Now let's head into today's show, Fact Check. I love stories. I love how they bring people together and how they can bridge the widest of divides. Stories are why I went into the field of public relations as an undergraduate student, and it's why I built my career using communication as a tool for social change. It's also why I love this quote from Nelson Mandela. Quote, "If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart." End quote. This quote is among the most well-known and widely shared of Mandela's words. It's been used by well-established authors, thought leaders, and scholarly publications and presentations with literally thousands of references across social media. For years, these words adorned a wall in our company's office suite. Painted in red, these words were my daily reminder of the power of story and what's possible when our heads and hearts align. There's only one problem. Nelson Mandela never actually said it. I learned this hard truth while recording a podcast episode back in 2020. It was early in the pandemic, and we had left our office space to retreat to makeshift home offices. I didn't know that we'd never actually returned to that office suite as a team. But in post-production, my producer called to share that the quote was wrong. There was no record of Mandela ever saying it, and like many quotes, its actual meaning had been lost. In that moment, I felt lost too. I had leaned so heavily on those words. What did it mean for my work that they were never actually said? Thanks to some serious digging by Harvard scholar Pierre de Gerber, I learned the truth, that in 1992, Mandela actually said this in conversation with Richard Engel. He said, "Because when you speak a language, English, well, many people understand you, including Afrikaners. But when you speak Afrikaans, you go straight to their hearts." End quote. Over time, his words had been simplified down to the precept I had learned in some book many years earlier. I hung on to those words. I referenced them often, and then I painted them onto an office wall. It may not seem like much of a difference between those two quotes. The spirit of them are, in fact, very similar. But behind those words, the difference in meaning is significant. Mandela was talking to Engel about Afrikaans, the language of the oppressor. And according to the research, the quote was likely said in the context of learning the language of the prison guards. The meaning here was clearly in the context of a strong power differential between the speakers. And the way I used the quote was all wrong. While the words meant something profound to me, they were truly and utterly divorced from what Mandela's words had meant to inspire in his audience. And that is a big difference. Today, with access to information and misinformation at our fingertips, we are constantly misattributing and misquoting famous figures. We take complex phrases and boil them down to memorable slogans that appear in public communications, ads, and speeches without really ever getting to the root of the actual words. For instance, here's a statement by Gandhi. Quote, "If we could change ourselves, the tendencies in the world would also change. As a man changes his own nature, so does the attitude of the world change towards him. We need not wait to see what others do." End quote. That has been misquoted for decades as this, quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," end quote. So how do you know, right, if the quotes you love are in fact the words that were spoken? Well, as I learned from this Mandela misquote, getting to the root of a quote can be complicated, but there are some good sources. Start with Google. Focus on finding out when the quote was said and aim to find the original text. If there are conflicting entries, check WikiQuote's list of misquotations. If you need more help still, turn to Garson O'Toole's Quote Investigator. You might even find your answer over at Snopes, which is a reference for sorting out online myths and rumors. And if you still can't find an answer, well, it may be time to find another quote. As for me, while the Mandela misquote was a guiding force in my work, I have stopped using it publicly. Instead, I reference it as a reminder that communication is best when delivered from a place of truth. Bottom line, it is all too common for meaningful sayings to be altered or removed from their original context, making it hard to know who said what and when. So focus on getting down to the roots of the words you use, and when in doubt, stay grounded in those facts.